Hey everybody, Jake here for American Trucks, and in this video we're taking a look at the AFE Magnum Force Stage 2 cold air intake in black with the Pro 5R oiled filter fitting 2021 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost powered F-150s. This intake is going to appeal to the EcoBoost owner who's looking for both form and function in one easy to install package. This is a premium intake that features a large high flow filter, making for an all-inclusive package that looks as good as it functions. And the best part here is there's no tuning required. Heavily turbocharged engines like the 3.5 EcoBoost need to be able to breathe well, and the more air you get in, the more those turbos can compress and the more power they can make. AFE has made a name for themselves for all things airflow related, hence the company's name, Advanced Flow Engineering. And as you'd expect, this intake is going to have some serious airflow to it. Now the filter itself is this huge 9-inch 360-degree oiled filter. AFE calls it their Pro 5R. This is an oiled design, which is great because that oil on the surface of the filter gives you an extra layer of protection that can help filter out fine dirt and particulates. So if you're out running in dirt or on trails, these will be better to filter out the dirt and debris than the equivalent dry filter. Now they still flow exceptionally well. In fact, AFE claims 98.6% efficiency from this filter, which is far more than the one you get fitted from the factory. And given the size of the thing, I'd say it's pretty accurate. It's got a huge amount of surface area with the height and these deep pleats too. And oiled filters can also be cleaned, re-oiled, and reused, so maintenance is easy and they're gonna last you a long time. So if you plan on keeping your truck for a while, oiled filters are a great choice because it's gonna save you from replacing your filter every year or so. But that filter is only as good as what feeds it air, and this setup is pretty unique. While you'd call this an open design, that's not entirely accurate. So this scoop here is gonna pull air from the front end of the truck, taking advantage of the airflow through your front grille, much like your stock intake. Only this one is a little bit bigger and more sturdy. Now that's gonna feed into the air box, and this is obviously all one piece. This is also larger than your factory air box. Now this one in particular does not include a lid in the traditional sense, but it does come with this weather stripping that you can put around the top here to help seal it against the hood. So it sort of functions as a lid when you've got the hood closed, which is going to keep hot air out of the air box itself. And that means that it can more easily pull in cooler air as opposed to the hot air that's circulating around your engine bay. Turbos like cooler air. It's more easily compressed, it's more dense, and that again means that it can combust better and make more power for you. Now all that air is then fed to the turbos via this large tube, which again is going to be smoother and better flowing than your factory intake. Overall, this makes for what AFE claims to be a 76% increase in airflow versus your stock intake. But there's one more benefit here, and that is definitely the sound. This big solid box and the big inlet tube here mean that you're gonna get quite a bit more turbo noise. Now the EcoBoost makes some good whooshy noises in stock form, but this is all just gonna amplify them and allows you to hear those cool turbo sounds even more clearly. Another big positive here is that this is a no tune required intake, so you don't have to invest in a custom tune or a flash tuning module in order to get this setup to work on your truck. Just install the intake and you're off to the races. However, I always say that with the caveat that as with any other intake, you shouldn't expect huge power gains. You should still feel some difference in the way your truck responds since you are funneling more air through the intake and into the engine, but big power gains are not going to be the end result here. You will get some appreciable difference though, and of course, even though a tune is not required, if you want to get the most out of this setup, you can always invest in such a tune or other breathing modifications such as an exhaust to help make the most difference. As with all of AFE's stuff, construction is also a highlight. The intake tubing and the air box are both made using roto-molded cross-linked polyethylene. So this is a fancy kind of plastic. The material is lightweight, it's strong, and it's very heat resistant. The filter is a 5-layer cotton gauze synthetic media, and it features what they call progressive layering. So each subsequent layer gets more and more dense to provide excellent filtering efficiency and dust holding. And since this is again an oiled filter, it's very good at keeping the air coming in nice and clean. Plus, again, you're gonna have a nice long lifespan here. You can just clean and re-oil this and you're right back on the road. The filter also features flexible polyurethane couplings here and a really nice hefty clamp to make sure that it's gonna be easy to install and you're gonna get a nice seal on it. But we'll talk more about that in a few moments. As far as pricing is concerned, this one is going to run you right around $400, which does make it one of the more premium options on the market. But this is a quality piece, it's built well, and it's backed by some solid engineering on AFE's part. So if you want a quality intake without having to spend a fortune or have to go get a tune, this is a great way to do it. All right, let's talk about the installation. This is a rather straightforward job, so it's gonna come in at a 1 out of 3 on our difficulty meter. You should budget about 1 hour to get this all wrapped up, and then you'll be back on the road. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this kit comes with all the hardware and the couplings that you need to get it done, and it isn't entirely bolt-on setup. Now, you will have to reuse your stock air intake temperature sensor right here and your stock PCV lines, but that's really about it. So this is a pretty simple job for anyone to accomplish at home. But that's enough chatter from me. With that, let's throw it out to the shop so we can show you how to get this installed on your truck.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, various extensions, an adapter if necessary, 7, 8, 11, and 13 millimeter sockets, a clip removal tool, and a small flathead screwdriver. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an intake on our F-150, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do here is come to the back of our main intake tube where our temperature sensor is located, and we're going to go ahead and unplug that. So we'll go ahead and push in on the release. Go ahead and pop that off. Now once we have that unplugged, we'll go ahead and release our harness here from the factory air box. It has these two little plastic clips. So we'll grab our clip removal tool, just go ahead and pop these off. And we can set this back here out of the way. Now we'll go ahead and release the tabs holding the upper portion of our air box in place. So we'll just pop those off like so. Go ahead and pull our air box out of its set point. Next, we'll go ahead and loosen up this worm gear clamp here holding our intake tube on with our 7mm socket and extension on our impact. Next, we'll go ahead and loosen up this lower clamp here, again with our 7mm socket. Now this one is pretty hard to see. It's tucked up back behind the intake tube, but again, you can reach it with your extension and socket. It's going to come right beside these hoses here, so you can kind of go in between them if you need to, or tuck down beside them like this. Next, we can pop our coolant reservoir hose out of its little retainer here. Just go ahead and let that hang. Now we can go ahead and take our intake tube and upper portion of our air box off. We'll go ahead and work this free on the upper tube. That does have some flex room, so it's not going to be that rigid, but you definitely want to be careful popping this out. Go ahead and get the upper one released. Pop our lower one off, and we can set this aside. Now we can remove the lower half of our air box and our air dam. So we've got a 13mm bolt holding it in place. So we'll go ahead and grab our 13mm socket on our ratchet and pull that out. Next, we'll grab our clip removal tool and remove the two retainer clips holding our air dam down. So now the lower half of your air box does have two little dowels that are placed in rubber isolators, which you just need to go ahead and work those loose and kind of pull up, and you can pop your air box loose. Alrighty guys, so there's a couple things we need to do before we can go onto the truck with our new intake. So the first of which is going to be to grab your new intake tube and find the opening here. That's where our temperature sensor is going to go back in. So we're going to install our supplied grommet and retainer part for the temperature sensor to transfer over. So we'll go ahead and get our grommet in first. Gonna go ahead and wedge that in there. Make sure it's properly seated like so, nice and flush around the rim there. And we'll grab our retainer part. Now this is gonna be a little bit of a harsh push, but you wanna make sure your grommet doesn't come through. Go ahead and have that sitting. Next, we're gonna grab our new air box and come to the upper portion here where it has what looks like a rail. We're gonna grab our provided weather stripping and go ahead and install that. So it has a slotted end at the bottom here. So we'll just go ahead and begin working this in. Make sure that seats all the way down. We're just gonna slowly work it. Now once you get all the way back around, you are going to have a little excess, so we'll go ahead and grab a pair of angle cutters and trim that off. So we want to get this as close to touching with the other end as possible. So we'll kind of just look around there, mark that out with our finger. Just want to be careful with your angle cutters. This does have a metal interior, so you will need something that will cut that. We can go ahead and work that around flush. So now we've got our factory intake tube, and we're going to go ahead and pull the temperature sensor out of that. Now it does have this small little tab here that you will need a small flathead screwdriver to lift up and over so you can spin it and get it out. Go ahead and lift that tab. You want to be careful not to break it, just lift it up enough to get it over that. And once you do, you can turn it counterclockwise. You should be able to pop it right out. Just want to be very delicate with it. You don't want to damage this sensor. Now you do want to be kind of delicate with this sensor. You definitely don't want to damage the end and then end up having to replace it. So now we can go ahead and install it into our new intake tube. So again, we'll line it up in its slots, make sure it seats all the way down. And go ahead and give that a quarter turn clockwise, and it will have the same retainer tab here to lock it in place. Now we've got the lower half of our factory intake box, and we're going to pull this factory mounting grommet for that 13mm bolt. So it has a metal insert in it, and if you want to make it easier, you can go ahead and just push that insert out first. Then your grommet will come right out. Then we can set this aside. Now we've got our new air box here, and you'll see the mounting hole here on the outside. We're going to go ahead and install this grommet into that hole. And just kind of work it in. Let it seat. Make sure it's seated properly on both sides. Then go ahead and reinsert that metal sleeve from the inside out. So now before we install our new intake, we're going to have to install this little addition to our factory vent tube into our driver's side turbo inlet. So we're going to go ahead and come to our vent tube fitting here. And again, this is on the driver's side. And we're going to go ahead and push this tab back to release the clamp. We'll go ahead and pop that off. Then we're going to grab our addition tube here. And it is labeled which side of the slash cut goes towards turbo. So we'll go ahead and sit that in place. Make sure that goes all the way down and seats properly. Then we can go ahead and reinstall our vent tube fitting. Make sure that locks back into place. Now we can go ahead and install our new air box. Remember the two dowels at the bottom going into these rubber locators. I'm going to go ahead and set this down in place. Make sure those properly seat. It'll be a little tricky since you can't see them when you're putting them in. Should sit down pretty properly once you find them. Next, we're going to go ahead and install our two push pins here at our air dam. Next, we'll go ahead and reinstall our 13mm mounting bolt into our grommet that we switched over. Then we'll go ahead and tighten that back down again with our 13mm socket on our ratchet. We did add a small extension in for this. Next, we can go ahead and install our couplings onto the factory sides of our intake tubes. So we'll go ahead and grab our supplied clamp. Now for the upper one, you do have this tapered, smaller to larger coupler. Go ahead and get that in place. May need to loosen up this clamp a little bit. That gets good and seated. You want to have your worm gear bolt in a nice accessible spot. So once we have that there, we'll go ahead and tighten that down with our 8mm socket and extension on our impact. So now we'll do the same thing for our lower intake tube here. So this is going to be more of a bellowed style coupler. So again, we'll put our provided clamp on there. Go ahead and get this slid into place. Make sure you seat that fully. Again, have your clamp in a nice accessible spot. We'll go ahead and tighten this bit down. Now we're going to go ahead and place our air filter into our air box. We'll kind of place it in like so. And pop the outlet section rather, through the connector hole. Then we'll go ahead and loosely install our clamp. You want to make sure that's in a good spot. So we'll just leave that loose for now. Next, we'll go ahead and install our worm gear clamps for the other side for our intake tube. Place these in position here. Remember, before you try to install the intake tube, you want to do this. Then we'll grab our intake tube. So what we're going to do first is take our intake tube, go ahead and get it onto our air filter. Just loosely, that's going to prevent your clamp from falling off or flying anywhere. Now this is going to be a bit of a two-handed operation. You want to hold your air filter flush with the air box to make sure it doesn't move. Go ahead and make sure that seats. We'll get our upper intake tube in. Now we'll get our clamps in position. Go ahead and tighten those down again with our 8mm socket. So now you want to make sure your air filter is fully seated still on your intake tube, and you want to grab an 11mm socket on your impact. Go ahead and tighten this clamp down. Now we can go ahead and plug in our temperature sensor. Go ahead and get that in position. Make sure that clicks into place. And then it does have a slot here for one of our little plastic retainer clips for the harness. So go ahead and place that on there.
That's going to do it here for our review and install of the AFE Magnum Force Stage 2 cold air intake in black with the Pro 5R oiled filter, fitting 2021 and newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost powered F-150s. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, for all things F-150, be sure to stick with us right here at AmericanTrucks.com.